So the second red is Shiraz. Somebody asked me this week, why do we call it Shiraz and not Syrah? And it's just, unfortunately, it's something that for some weird reason, the South Africans and the Australians called the variety Syrah, while the rest of the world call it, we call it Shiraz, while the rest of the world call it Syrah. I don't know how it happened. The variety's been growing here at Groot Constantia for probably 300 years. There are references to red wines made from Shiraz variety 300 years ago, 1720s already. I think 1725. There were some French and German viticulturists that believed that the red wines from Constantia was actually made from Shiraz. So we have a very long history with the variety. We've been labeling it as Shiraz for about a century as well. So we decided, to change the name now, just because of international trends doesn't really make sense. So we will stick to the name we've had for a very long time. But I think from a stylistic point of view, it's definitely more in a traditional style. It's not a in-your-face style of wine at all. Again, it's the latest ripening variety on the farm. We just get amazing aromatics from this wine. This is 2017. We slightly changed the style over the last 10 years. We did more extraction, sort of more Cabernet-like extraction on the Shiraz years ago. Lots of pump overs and small oak, more new oak as well. And over the last 10 years, we slowly changed it more traditional winemaking, what the guys in their own valley does as well. So there's a bit of whole bunch ferment, larger format, 2,500 liter foudres or 500 liters. So to definitely change the winemaking, it's fewer pump overs and punch downs to reduce the extract, and then focus more on the aromatics. Because Shiraz or Syrah it's actually I wouldn't say it's a feminine variety, but it can be very beautiful aromatic variety. So we try to focus more on that rather than extract and intensity. We try to get something that's a bit more floral. So we get a bit of that floral character, but nice spice, nicer that black pepper character that we find in the wines as well. And then interesting, this wine's been in bottle for a couple of years now. And what we have seen is, we do see that the Shiraz get quite savory over time. So even though the wines, when we just bottle it, they're very floral and spicy. And after a couple of years in bottle, I think that savory meaty character starts to show nicely as well. Again, it makes the wine very nice and versatile. I definitely would go red meat, when it comes to food and wine. And then you can tune up the spice if you want to add some spice, fennel, that not too Indian spice, but a bit of wood spice in the food is not necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, nice herbal undertone in this wine as well. So also make the wine nice and versatile. Interesting that Shiraz, as we call it here, it's the second biggest red variety in South Africa. I think global warming is real. About things happening all over the world, literally all over the globe, some really weird weather patterns that's emerging. And you don't know what's going to happen. So even here, the guys are looking at varieties, more new varieties from the Mediterranean basin, Portuguese varieties, Spanish, south of France, even Greek varieties that the guys are trying here. Just in case, the patterns do change, where they get a bit extreme, use varieties that's been exposed to more extreme patterns and proved itself to be more able to withstand those more extreme conditions that's done it over a very long time in Southern Europe. One variety though that we've had here for centuries, and that's also proven, to be able to withstand extreme conditions, is Shiraz. So we have seen an increase in Shiraz production or plantings rather over the last 5 or 8 years. So it still hasn't overtaken Cabernet. I mean, Cabernet is the biggest variety internationally. It's the biggest variety. So it still hasn't overtaken Cabernet, but it's definitely gained. The plantings gained on Cabernet over the last 5 or 8 years. So it's quite an interesting variety. Also grown in all the different wine growing regions. Constantia and Elgin, the coolest and wettest regions in the country. all the way through to Paarl and Swartland, it's really hot and dry. So it really is proven to be a really versatile variety, making some very different styles, very interesting styles of wine in different wine regions.